evening, everyone. So I don't know about you, but I'm super excited to be here. Okay, nice job. That's always a little scary because sometimes you all just look at me like, okay, Elise. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Elise Crossman. I am the Executive Director of the Greater Claremont Chamber of Commerce, the organization facilitating these evening's awards. I do think it is an important note. I know you've all had lots of time to read your programs cover to cover, so I'm just going to give you the Cliff Notes version on that. But our honorees this evening, while most of them have an affiliation to the Chamber, that's not a requirement. And the Chamber doesn't just sit around and be like, who should we give these awards to? They're actually submitted by community members that say, hey, you know what? That Dana, she's doing awesome stuff. She should get recognized for it. And they tell us about it. So the reason I'm sharing all of that with you is because, one, I think it's super important that it's not just the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. While that's an awesome group as well, it's not just them that sits around and decides who we're honoring this evening. And twofold, so that you are thinking over the next, 6 to 8 months, who you want to nominate for next year. So putting that plug out there now. So these awards started in 1957 when we awarded the very first Citizen of the Year award. Since then, we've added a number of different categories so that we're now at 5. And I think that's pretty exciting and pretty cool to look at, that this has been a tradition in our community for that period of time. So it is my absolute privilege to bring up Miss Courtney Porter, who is going to introduce our very first award.
Good evening, everyone. I first met the Model Youth of the Year when he was in 6th grade. What was originally going to be a lunch group or two turned into 3 years of some of the most funnest lunch groups I've ever had. We talked about school stuff, home stuff, sports. He taught me the words to the song, Dumb Ways to Die. If you don't know what that is, please Google it because it has middle school boy written all over it. So as he entered high school, I saw him transform. Sorry. From a shy middle schooler to a true leader. During the past 4 years, he's been active in basketball and baseball and the Honor Society and Key Club, and he's even class president his sophomore year. His involvement extends beyond the school day. You will often find him in the community, whether it be volunteering with Parks and Rec or ringing bells for Kiwanis or doing things for the city of Claremont. St. Mary's Church, I could go on and on about all the amazing things that he does. I am very blessed to know him, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for this young man. It is my deep, deep honor and privilege to present this year's Model Youth of the Year to Jesse Foote.
First of all, I'd like to thank Ms. Porter for being by my side since 6th grade and for helping me become the person I am today. I'd also like to thank my employers at the Claremont Community Center for allowing me to work with many different people and for allowing me to be involved within the community. I'd like to thank all my teachers at school and all my parents and, of course, the Chamber of Commerce and everyone who helped put this event together today. Thank you.
Fantastic. So also, another tidbit, how we notify everybody that there are awards, because it's not a surprise that we're here, right? You all know who's winning, right? Well, so for 4 of the 5 categories, they're announced as a surprise at our holiday celebration. But that 5th category, we felt like maybe it's not the most appropriate to invite the high school senior to the Chamber's cocktail holiday party. So what we instituted for the very first time when we gave the award was, I work with good old Miss Porter here. Courtney's the best. And she arranges to surprise that high school senior. And so this year she coordinated with Jesse's family and the school. I got to come in And poor Jessie walked in and was a little nervous of where's everybody I care about in this room and who is that weird lady? I was the weird lady, and it was a wonderful time to be able to share something really awesome was happening, not at all scary. I do feel like maybe we should rearrange that. I don't know, because that level of fear maybe is not awesome for children. But I'd like to now introduce Mr. Alex Herzog, who is going to share with you our next recipient.
I don't get an applause very often for not doing anything, so that was good. Thank you. Give me a second. I told Dana I cut this speech down from 27 minutes to 23, so she's a bright young lady and has a lot to offer, but I did. Good. So good evening. I'm Dr. Alex Herzog, Vice President for the Greater Claremont Chamber of Commerce. I'm honored to be here tonight to award the Young Professional Award for 2022 to Ms. Dana McGrath. Dana is an amazing young woman who has made an incredible impact in the Claremont community in just a short time. I have the pleasure of working with tonight's winner on the Greater Claremont Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, and she also serves with me on the Claremont Community Media Center, formerly CCTV, on the Board of Directors, and she is the Vice Chair. Dana is also actively involved with many organizations and bios and activities, and I couldn't even list them all, so I wanted you to know. She did get third place, was it? I had the in for Grilling for Good last year, but how many contestants were there? I'll leave that alone. But while working with Dana on the CCMC board of directors, we are all actively engaged in trying to do, we give time, talent, and treasure to make our local public television station something a little bit more interesting and induce a lot of local programming. Dana came forward and developed and stars in a cooking show, Community Affair. It's got a number of episodes out. This is where she hosts local folks who make homemade meals, and they teach us how to make them on the show. I'm particularly fond of episode number 5, starring yours truly, where we made a German dish of schnitzel and spätzle. It was a great time. Not only did we have fun making the meal, but we enjoyed a hearty meal after. I mean, perks of the job, right? However, I'm not the only one impressed with Dana's enthusiasm and dedication to our community. Here's what other folks in the community had to share when she was nominated. I have never met a sweeter person. Dana is so fun, so helpful, and incredibly creative. From her work serving on the board for the chamber, working the pancake breakfast, the gala, the wreath auction, and so much more, she is always one of the first to step up and volunteer her time. Another one said, she's overall one of the most amazing young professionals to move into the Sugar River region in a long time. It was capitalized. We need more people like her. So Dana, will you come up here and join me here at the podium as I conclude with saying this. Dana, thank you for being a good friend, a good neighbor, and a colleague to many in the community. Thank you, Dana, for all that you're doing to make Greater Claremont a better place for all of us. Please accept this award and honor as Young Professional of the Year on behalf of the Greater Claremont Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
You made me cry, Alex. All right. Good evening, everyone. Back at the holiday party in December, when Elise was leading up to the announcement of who was going to be the 2022 Young Professional of the Year, Brianna Critch from Claremont Savings Bank was looking over me like she knew some sort of secret. And I was humbled when Elise called my name and handed me that initial certificate. So to start, I'd like to thank the Chamber, Elise, Alex, of course, and the entire President's Awards Selection Committee as well for this honor. My professional life is sprinkled with event coordinator roles, so I've helped purchase tickets, awards, gift cards, set up events, blood, sweat, and tears behind the event logistics, but never thought I'd be one of the ones receiving one of these shiny awards. So I'd also like to thank my family who are in attendance tonight, Mom, Dale, and my new brother-in-law, Dan. My family have been my greatest cheerleaders for years. You've helped me overcome more than I could imagine, and I certainly would not be where I am now without your support. These ladies through hell and high water, have finally instilled in me happiness is not a destination, but it's a way of life. I purchased my little single-family home out here in the wild west of New Hampshire because it was the most affordable option at the time. I also fell in love with my 1920s four-square home with the quaint French porch. Little did I know the house is not the only thing that I'd come to love here in Claremont. From the influx of interest in our little online Claremont Cooks Facebook group, to inspiring people on the various nonprofit boards and city commissions where I volunteer, the warmth and openness of the people who live and work in Claremont have provided me with a sense of belonging that I haven't felt in a really long time. I can hardly express enough my tremendous gratitude to the greater Claremont community for that. It's been a pleasure to see the positive changes in my now 2-year tenure as a Claremont resident and meet the amazing people with whom I've had the privilege to collaborate. Every one of you is a luminary for sharing your time, talent, and treasure in the effort to better this city, whether it's by attending chamber events, conducting business in the area, leading the Discover Sugar River Region initiative, or simply being a part of the community. We all play an integral part of the work that is putting Claremont back on the map. Getting involved in future planning and projects with you all has provided me with the front row seats in the overture of the Claremont Renaissance. I'm honored to accept this award and be here tonight with the dreamers and doers building our bright future together. So thank you.
Doesn't it just warm your heart? I mean, I'm just saying, there's been some tears shed. I love it. One piece I wanted to also note was, as you've noticed, both Courtney and Alex have a relationship of some nature with those that they introduced the award to. Our next presenter does not, but I want to explain to you why he's our next presenter. So many years ago, we had the idea that, well, as this year's recipient, you get to introduce next year's recipient. And that was slightly terrifying for some folks, but luckily not last year's Citizen of the Year that I'm going to have come up now, Mr. Rob Walker.
Thank you. Took some notes. Like Elise said, I've never met the new Citizen of the Year, but I had to bring some notes up so I could get started. I have the honor of presenting this year's Citizen of the Year. I'm really proud to be standing up here to talk about something that started, like you said, in 1957 here in Claremont. The recipients of this award, I looked over that list long, are folks that have and continue to make contributions to Claremont as a community, lasting contributions. Tonight, I introduce a woman who sits here among us who exceeds this criteria in my mind. A woman whose efforts benefit, I think, generations of Claremont folk. Getting to know her through notes, I hadn't caught up with her until tonight. And it all came to fruition once we spoke. But in the nomination letter sent on her behalf, there was a resounding theme of leadership, dedication, care that came to the forefront of that letter. And you can see that once you speak to her, and I'm sure many in this room know who I'm talking about. Her name's behind me. We'll get there in a minute. An important note is, if you didn't know, that how instrumental her involvement was with the Claremont Senior Center. It has been over a decade she's been volunteering there, and how critical her role became when the pandemic hit with that senior center and beyond. She was chair of the board when all of this happened, when the pandemic hit. In her words, she became a jack of all trades, a director, maintenance person, a volunteer coordinator, and more, ensuring that the center survived what we all know was a pretty difficult time. That really only scratches the surface as to what her involvement brought. She brought well-being, not only to seniors in our community, but I think others that rely on that center as a safe haven in times of need. From getting creative within programs that were thrust with restrictions, right? So she got super creative with programs, setting sights on future benefits, rolling up her sleeves, getting her hands dirty, car shows, bingo, knitting groups, the list goes on and on. Drive-up food programs, things that enriched others' lives through her actions took place because she got really, really involved and has been the whole time. And this isn't like a 1 or 2 year trend for her. Looking at this, like I said, at the Senior Center for over a decade, you dig in to her life and what she's done here in the community, there's more. There's a commitment to the community. The volunteer efforts go to Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, a bowling coach. Did I see that? That's right. Yeah, a bowling coach. So hit her up if you're looking to get better at bowling. Working with the Stevens Alumni Association and serving on school committees. And in my opinion, one of the extremely brave things that somebody could do in this community is substitute teach. Wow. Amazing. Before I bring her up, I got one more note, one more thing, is that she's likely the better half, I think it's safe to say that, of a Claremont power couple, okay? Her husband has received this award in the past, and I did some research on that, and he was quoted saying, I said to my wife, you're probably the one that should have gotten this. Well, Tom, you knew it. An inspirational role model for our community, Denise Livingston. Come on up.
Good evening. Tonight I stand before you very honored and humbled to be receiving this award. Growing up, I remember watching my parents volunteering and being involved in my siblings and my school and activities. I also remember them saying that if it needs to be done and you can do it, then do it. And when you do something, make sure you do your best and be proud of what you did. I believe and I feel that I did do my best in everything I did, and I am proud of what I have done in my teaching career, raising my son, taking care of my family, my volunteering and community work. Yes, there were times I was frustrated and I was tired, but in the end, I have enjoyed doing it, and if I didn't enjoy it, I would not have been doing it. I'm satisfied with what I have accomplished, and would I do it all over again? Absolutely. But of course, I didn't do this all by myself. I had the support of my husband, my son, my siblings, the others I have worked with in the committees and the other organizations that I worked with. Also, there are a lot of members and volunteers at the Claremont Senior Center who worked with me and helped me during the pandemic, especially the kitchen staff, who were probably the most dedicated during this time, providing 2 drive-up meals a week during that time. To everyone that I have worked with and have supported me, thank you. I also want to thank Jim for taking the time and the effort to nominating me for this award. And also thank you to everyone who came out to honor all the honorees tonight. Thank you.
Back again. Surprised, right? One thing that I do want to especially draw your attention to, Rob mentioned that both Tom and Denise have won this award, and they're our very first couple to have ever won the award separately. We've honored some as the same year recipients, but they are the very first couple to ever win them individually in separate years. So. I also wanted to share a bit. It was commented on the selection committee, and I started to talk to you about who selects things, and then I got sidetracked. And if any of you have ever had a conversation with me, know that might happen often. But The selection committee that chose these recipients is made up of recipients from the last 5 years, as well as members of the Chamber's Board of Directors. So it's not, again, just the Chamber Board deciding who these folks are, which I think makes it a bit more special. With that, Ms. Courtney's gonna come on down.
Since 1903, the Claremont Elks Lodge has been investing in our community through programs that help children grow to be healthy and drug-free, and to also improve the lives of the veterans in our community. These programs include the soccer shoot, the hoop shoot, Red Ribbon Week, hosting events for veterans where they work on cooking skills or home skills. They are also a sponsor of the St. Joe's Sports Night through Stevens High School. Members of the Claremont Elks Lodge volunteer hundreds of hours each year to make Claremont a better place. And fun fact, if you were doing your homework, like Elise said, and ran your program, the very first nonprofit of the year in 2007 went to the Claremont Elks Lodge. At this time, I'd like you guys to join me in welcoming Brian Landry, exalted ruler of the Claremont Elks Lodge, to the stage here to accept the nonprofit of the year.
Well, I've never been known to be speechless. I do want to, can everybody hear me okay? Certainly. I do want to thank the Greater Claremont Chamber of Commerce for their honor. I'd like to congratulate the fellow honorees. And as I stand here, I've got some written things and speeches or whatever, but as I stand here in the Claremont Opera House, it reminds me of how the Elks were actually formed. Back in 1868, on February 16th, there was a group of actors, performers in New York City, and one of them became ill. So his fellow actors and performers in their troupe took care of him. And as the country grew, and with the westward expansion, venues such as this popped up across the country. And with that, the Elks grew. Now we have over 1 million members, or close to 1 million members, I should say, and over 2,000 Elks lodges in the country. We all share some common principles. Some things, the notable things the Elks have done over the years, the great San Francisco earthquake and fire, the Elks were the first on the scene to render aid and assistance. The great Johnstown flood, again, the Elks were first on the scene. In 1917, the Elks outfitted the first 2 mobile army surgical hospitals in France. The Elks have established Flag Day, which is now a federally recognized observance. Also, the Elks every year, they distribute more than $80 million to the communities throughout the United States. We give more scholarship money without any strings attached than the U.S. government. I'm very passionate about the Elks, and for those of you that know me, you understand that. Looking at Courtney here, I'm surprised I'm not in tears already, but anyways, I do want to thank everybody. It's quite an honor, and it was totally unexpected. Again, thank you. You all have a wonderful night. Appreciate you.
I'm going to just move this down a little because I felt like the tiptoes might be a little much for you all at this point in the evening. So we've got one more award to do, but I'm going to share some stuff with you first that actually has nothing to do with the award at all. I want to talk about something super quick that both Dana and Alex mentioned, which is the Sugar River region. And some of you may have been like, what are they talking about? So for those of you that might not be aware, there is an initiative happening currently called Discover Sugar River Region, which is the forming of a DMO through a number of interested parties to help market our region, which is what we are. We are not necessarily the Upper Valley. We're not Lake Sunapee. We're kind of this funky spot off on the side that over the years has been debated what we should call ourselves and where we should be beyond. So through an initiative that was initially spearheaded by Sullivan County, we're having some conversations about potentially rebranding as Discover Sugar River Region. All three chambers that are in that region are involved in that initiative, as well as elected officials, business owners, and volunteers. So that's sort of that piece, and I'm more than happy to share way more with any of you that want to talk to me about Sugar River Region, but I won't do that now. Anybody looking for a super cool new sticker for their water bottle, laptop, etc., they're out in the atrium. Feel free to grab 1 or 10 on your way out. But now is the time. I'm super excited to invite Mr. Elliot Hale.
Gonna go ahead and move this back up. Thank you. My name's Elliot Hale. I work with Bar Harbor Bank and Trust. When I read the criteria for this award, it makes a lot of sense why this business was nominated. Their commitment to the economic growth of Claremont is evident. Just take a look around at all of the out-of-state plates you see with bikes strapped to their cars. Community service runs in the blood of these three owners. Long before they took the helm of the business they now own, they could be seen in the community doing what they do best, building, growing, and investing. Sorry, this doesn't seem right. Oh my God, much better. Oh, I feel so much better now. I can't think of better people to have taken over the longtime fixture of community to the next level. If you know Matt, Eli, and Rob, now I can't read my notes. If you know Matt, Eli, and Rob, you know they certainly aren't a carbon copy of each other. What I love most about these three is that they are so in sync with who they are, who they want to be, and where they want their business to go. Outside of their commitment to their business and their community, I'm not even kidding, I can't read this. Here we go. Outside of their commitment to their business and their community, they also manage to be wonderful partners, fathers, and friends. If you ever want to test this, show up on a Saturday morning for one of their community rides, head over to check out the trails at Arrowhead, or just look to the boards of the local civic organizations. You will see that these three lead by example with kindness, inclusivity, and an amazing energy towards the people and city of Claremont. It is my honor to present the Wheelhouse with the 2022 Business of the Year.
This back down. There we go. The normal height. Wow, thank you. That's awesome. This is super cool to be here. So, you know, I'm Eli. I'm 1/3 of the brain that makes up the shop here. It takes 3 of us, and it's such an honor to be up here, not only with coworkers, but people that I consider to be my closest friends. It's just incredible to be nominated for this award. So, thank you so much. And we won it. We won it? Oh, we won it. I don't know if we won the award. So anyway, I'll let Matt say a few words.
Hard to follow that, right? I just want to thank everyone that did nominate us and voting for us and everything, and all of our spouses that put up all the headaches that we went through to purchase this business and building the trails and all the stuff that we do all the time. And I'm going to leave it at that because out of the 3 of us, Rob's the talker.
Twice in one night. You guys are lucky. Look, we wouldn't be here without the patronage of our customers, the community, and Claremont. So we all find something very special here. We choose to be here. We choose to run our business in Claremont and give back to Claremont. And we couldn't do that. I see faces out there that are more than customers, more than community members, people that are involved, who pick up shovels, who show up at races, who some don't ride bikes. Some people just want to be a part of what's happening, and that is extremely special. I see spouses, my wife, who sometimes I don't come home because I'm digging in the woods like a 10-year-old child. It's all for the greater good, I swear, promise. Accountability is one thing that we treasure in our business and in our community and with our actions. Being accountable for the things that we say and that we do and that we want. And if you want something better, be accountable for it. Denise said it very well earlier. You can be better and change things, and people will, it is contagious. People will follow you. So if you take anything home and share what you saw here tonight, bring home positivity, share it, and bring it into the community every single day, and Claremont's just going to keep getting better. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you to all of you physically here in this room right now for taking time out of your day to come celebrate with us. It's a pretty big deal these days. You could be a lot of other places on a Saturday night. And I know that I and a number of other people are incredibly appreciative that you chose to be here. So thank you. Thank you to the honorees, not only for all of the incredibly awesomeness that you're doing, but for that you're going to continue doing, and the inspirations that you're continuing to share with others. That's pretty awesome. Thank you to Claremont Opera House. They're pretty wonderful, right? I mean, this was a beautiful event. This is a great venue. They've been doing fantastic bar service for you all in the atrium. I also want to thank tonight's volunteers, both from the Opera House that are here volunteering their time as ushers, as well as the Chamber's volunteers that were here for the event, as well as our sponsors, Mascoma Bank and Claremont Savings Bank. Without their fiscal support, things like this wouldn't be able to happen. As well as our event and selection committees that selected said recipients, pretty big deal, but also helped in the event planning. For anybody that hasn't ever planned an event before, there's a lot of really tiny minutia that goes into it that I'm super thankful to have a really fantastic group helping with that events committee. Side note, if you want to join that committee, there's plenty of room and we're happy to have you. There's also a marketing committee, membership, finance. So really anything you would want to do, I've got a committee for you. So just see me after. Additionally, I wanted to remind all of our recipients that we're going to take some formal photos in the atrium following the conclusion of things this evening. So please, please, please do not leave. That is both the recipient and the presenter, as well as the recipient and their families or groupings, their village that they brought with them. We're welcome to continue things in the atrium. So there are still some desserts and other wonderful snacks and bar service happening out there. And otherwise, enjoy your evenings. Thank you for being here.